and welcome to the DecentraWise Podcast. My name is Pedro.
And I'm Miguel, and you just joined us in our mission to
Decentralize the world.
wisely. What a blank mind today. Sorry, guys, not every day is a good day. So,
Of course,
brain
it's a good day.
melted a few hours ago. So, yeah, that's it. But let's do it wisely. Let's try to decentralize this one.
Yeah. So, if you like this kind of stuff, grab your drink and sit back and relax because we will get nerdy here. Not as nerdy as most of the days, because today we have a special topic which is connected to the actual news, and it's regulations. So I think this topic is cool because we just had a major approval of the first 11 ETFs from the SEC, and this is a milestone for our industry. And what does this mean for this industry going forward? And what does this mean for regulation and whatever? So these are the themes for today, right?
Yeah, exactly. And this was a really important milestone. We will talk about what it means. But yeah, let's keep in mind that this is the SEC. This is a SEC decision. So it will eventually reproduce all over the world, either that or something alike. And this is one of the things that I would like to start talking, because the regulations are not uniform everywhere. So different countries will have different regulations, and the US have their own regulations, Europe have also their own regulations, and different countries will have small details differently. And the way that we are approaching this is not still very uniform. So what do you have to say about that?
Yeah, the US has their own regulations and the world has their own regulations, but the US rules the world, right?
Yeah.
It's a little bit like that. And it doesn't mean anything if Caribbean country, small one, like whatever, what's the name of that country that accepts Bitcoin as legal tender? It doesn't mean anything, right? It's just a drop in the ocean, and that's it. But Bitcoin being an asset class, trade in US stock exchanges, that's something, right?
Yeah.
When there are some things not going very well in this industry, people just don't care. And if the US doesn't ban it, nothing happens. It's business as usual, right?
Yeah.
But if the US bans this shit or something in this
Yeah,
industry,
yeah, the other
the
countries
entire
will go.
world goes after what they can.
Yeah. Do you know the status of
We've
that?
seen it.
Do you know the status for European countries?
Yeah, like the Mika bill. Do you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, so if because what exchanges will do is if this was approved for the US, they will make it available on the US, but not on Europe. So until it's approved also in Europe, we won't have access to those.
I don't need access to those. I don't really care. The ETF doesn't bother me at all. I will not. I will never buy Bitcoin in an ETF,
Yeah, no.
most probably. So I don't give a shit. But what is important for this industry is the exposure and the ability for those that cannot buy or are not able to buy crypto on their own to have access to it, right? Like the major funds and 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 those things like that, like IRAs and pension funds and all those things. The rest, the rest of the entire industry is already invested in Bitcoin and Ethereum and all the major caps, right? They don't need any approval. They just go and buy it and hold it in some cold storage, and that's it. That's the same that as I do, or you do, or
Yeah.
anyone, right? So, but these funds need a regulated way of getting into this into this industry. And if until last week they couldn't, and today we can, they can, right?
Yeah. So what are these regulations all about? So what is to be regulated? What's the point of this regulation?
Well, this is not a regulation. This is an approval of an instrument. But what it does really is bring credibility to this industry. Although the chair Gensler, aka my precious, he made his best effort to say that he doesn't approve this industry and he doesn't approve Bitcoin. I have a message to him. I don't approve you either, Gensler. Okay? I don't approve you. Do you bother with that? I don't bother if you approve this industry or not.
He will be very
F you.
sad after watching this.
Okay?
I'm sure.
So, with that said, the approval of the SEC means this industry has a ways to go, right? Because either the US would ban crypto outright, but it seems that they realize they can't, right?
Yeah, well, it's kind of
So-
impossible.
So this means crypto won the first battle, but there are many others, right? This
Yeah.
is just the first. The war is not won, as most people are saying around. And so, oh, this will be just great from this point on. No, man, this is just one big battle that we won. But there's a lot of bad, terrible things that can come from regulation sides, and I bet they will try, and they
Yeah,
will
but
most probably fail. But
the point that I was trying to bring up is what's the objective of those regulations, and I want to point out that user protection and consumer protection is one of the objectives of the whole regulation thing. Let alone that the ETFs, we don't really care about those, but this 2023 was the year, in my view, of the regulations in crypto. So I think this is a very chaotic space, and users that get into this space, get really lost very quickly, and lost, and they lose a lot of money very quickly. So some regulations, I think, should come up. I'm all for non-regulated markets, but some regulations kind of make sense. So if we are talking of user protection and user information, I think it's a good place to go.
Don't get me wrong. I am completely in favor of having this space regulated in some kind. I we live in a world where there are silos called countries that introduce a lot of legal bullshit on our lives, and we have to deal with that, right? And I'm not in favor of governments. I don't know. I'm not in favor of laws and all those things. I'm more a libertarian guy, but I live in this world, and I have to adapt to it. Although I don't agree with most of those things, I have to live with them, and I think that's what I think this space needs, is to be able to live with the TradFi and to with the um, laws of the jungle that we have in our society, right? And say laws of the jungle because most of the laws are complete bullshit, right? They
Yep.
have nice names so that we find them useful, but if you dig into them, they just suck, right? So this space needs to live with that, as I need to live with that. That's it. If I want to be a part in this uh, um, society, I have to adhere to some stuff, whether I like it or not, and that's it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
And
that is
that's
correct.
what needs to happen, right? But I don't agree that the regulation will bring consumer protection. I don't agree it will bring anything else than acceptance by the powers that be. That's the whole point of regulation. It's not in favor of anyone. It will not bring with more or less regulation. People will still lose their keys and lose their Bitcoin and do dumb shit and go into scams and phishing attacks and all that shit. So the government doesn't protect them from those, right? And it's not only in this space. Just I grab my phone and I have guys somewhere, I don't know where, texting me, "Father, I changed my phone. Can you please call me back?" And then you call back and it's not call send a message back, and they send you a deposit to send money and blah blah blah. That is not crypto, and it's happening, and it's happening even more and more and more by the day, right?
Yeah.
That's natural. It's the digital world full of scammers, and crypto is paradise compared to this, right? I don't see that in crypto. Crypto is fine for me. I don't see anything like that, right? So, are we talking about scams and phishing attacks and all that shit? we don't need crypto for that, guys. There's a lot going on without crypto already, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there are some other stuff. Like there are very bad projects there that people should be either advised about it, because people don't know how to analyze if it's a good project or not. And there are lots of rug pulls there. And people should be kind of protected against those because, well,
Can we talk about GameStop
yep.
or any other meme stock? It's the same shit, Miguel.
Yeah, but those are regulated.
Those are not regulated. They are traded in stock markets. They
So they are
just
regulated.
they are a company and they don't do a shit during a bunch of years, and then people just decided to make pumps and dumps, and there you go. We have a GameStop company that now is worth, I don't know, whatever, right? And people are trading that actively just for making extra money or for speculation, and that's completely legal. In crypto is the same thing. People do damn shit, and people that invested in GameStop at the top lost a lot of money, and the
Yeah,
SEC
okay.
didn't save them.
Let's get something straight.
Right?
I know that regulations won't
Yeah.
solve most of the things, if any. What I'm trying to get is what these regulations are all about. So we were talking about protecting the consumers of the space. So those things are not fixable, or at least easily fixable. But they came up. So now you have regulations for that. You now have KYCs and ALMs mandatory for, if not most projects, at least quite a few. And this is supposed to be for either anti-laundry stuff, for so that you can stop terrorism, so that you cannot laundry, so you can pay your taxes, so you can do all this kind of stuff, or stop this kind of stuff. And that's what I'm trying to get into. What is this all about?
Yeah. Those are more like those laws that don't serve anyone, but they exist, and that's it. So know your customer only makes you a spy for the country that you're in, right? So every project needs to keep information about their customers so that if they are forced by the state, they release it. And by being forced, it's not very hard. The state just says, okay, if you want to continue being in business, give it to us. And that's it, right? So that's the same thing that companies and banks and all that have to comply with. What's the use for that? Mostly none for the retail user.
Yeah.
It's just to make sure that you don't go under the radar and you pay your taxes. That's it.
Yeah.
Let's call it by the names. Okay, guys? Know your customer is bullshit. It's just for you to pay your taxes.
Yeah, but this is
if
this
you don't,
is the
you're fucked.
right? This is the what they use for KYCs and ALMs, right? So it's to stop
AMLs.
terrorism. It's to
AML is the same thing. Uh, it's not the data side of things, but it's the money origin of side of
Yeah.
things, and it's the same shit. It's just for making sure that if you go over a certain amount, you pay taxes on it, and that's it. If you move more than X amount, then you will have to adhere to pay taxes on that. Otherwise, people with guns knock on your door. And that's it, right?
Yeah, exactly. One of the things that I would like to point out is the ICOs, and this is one of the things that why regulations came up, because ICOs are considered as securities, and securities are a different thing. So how do you see the ICOs? They are securities. They are considered securities, so they are have to be regulated differently.
Well,
Than,
I am in this space since 2015, and I never did an ICO.
yeah, well,
And I
but
launched many projects. So there's a reason for that, right? And the reason is selling tokens is clearly a security for me.
yeah,
And since I don't want to adhere and register with whichever entity handles securities in the projects that I want to launch anywhere in any jurisdiction. So I didn't do it. And Bitcoin didn't do it, right?
yeah,
And it's clearly not a security because of that, because there
yeah.
was no token sale, right?
Yeah, I mean, you've seen ICOs like there was really this huge amount of ICOs like 5 years ago, five,
It
seven
was
years ago. There was a
2017
lot,
was the
yes,
peak,
a lot of ICOs,
and it
and
was
you have
beautiful. I loved it.
it was an ICO for each project.
Yeah, I loved it. I still didn't do it because I knew uh, when I launched this sound in the like the last part of the enormous, gigantic 2017 bull run, uh, I could perfectly have made uh, an ICO for that, and I would have made a bunch of gazillions of money, right?
Yeah,
I didn't do it because I don't. I want to remain free. I don't want to go to jail like many who did, right? And I don't want to. I want to be in this space without any fear of anything. And uh, the only way to be like that is to do the right things all the time and be a public person in this space without any fears, right? And this space for me is not a space where I came just to grab a few bucks and go away. This is not what I want to do. What I want to do here is much bigger than that. I don't want to be afraid of doing other shit whenever I want because of legal potential problems I had in the past, right? And I really think that many people that did ICOs in that ICO craze are still to be accountable, to be called to be accountable for that, and they will probably, most probably, unless the project is very insignificant, right?
yeah,
So that is the problem of ICOs, but it was a very beautiful thing because for the first time, anyone could raise capital without any limits, and it was very interesting from that perspective. Because and another curiosity is the problem of being a security or not, and the being approved by the SEC or not, and blah blah blah, is always the same thing. Making a bunch of money is only for the friends. It's not for everyone. The friends of the guys in power, right? And uh, ICOs are not more, not less than what we have in VC capital. It's the same shit, right? Why
Yeah, kind
the
of.
VC guys can do it
The
and
VC
the
guys are
regular guy
informed
can't?
people. The VC guys are informed people.
Are
That's a big difference. A
no,
big difference. Yeah,
it,
well, they are investors, so
they
they
are
are kind of
they are
informed. And there is another thing, because they can pressure you to do stuff.
no, they are informed. You are right, because they front run everybody,
But yeah, but
right?
it's not only that. And you know, those guys
Man, it's
are making business. It's not like the regular people putting a buck on a project because they have no influence. They don't usually don't know what they're doing. They don't know how to
you are
analyze the
talking
business.
about you are talking about VCs that are good VCs, but unfortunately, those are not the majority.
Yeah, well, those don't last
the
that long.
the
People that don't know how to
majority
make business don't last long in the
the
world.
majority of VC capital, they don't give a shit to your for your project. They don't help you in any way.
I'm not
They
saying they
just
give a shit. No,
they
I'm not
they
saying that
just
they give
put
a shit.
money and grab a lot
Yeah,
more on the way out.
of
That's it.
course, if it goes well. If it doesn't, they know how to trigger
Yeah.
some strings to make you do it. So, and that's the difference between that I was trying to explain you, between the regular guy that is putting a buck in the project. They don't have influence. They don't know how to move strings. They don't know how to influence the project. They don't know if the project is considered good or not, because they don't know how to analyze a business. And those guys are putting that are really investing money. They usually know how to do those stuff, uh, to do that stuff. So it's very different. The crowd is very different. So if you are talking about the VCs, I would consider those informed people. The people that go into ICOs are usually very ignorant people about what they are investing and how they are investing.
No. The ICOs were done in two stages. The first stage was the pre-sale, and the pre-sale was for VCs
Yeah,
mostly, because those were the guys that
yeah, those were the big buys. Were the big guys.
were buying a lot of the tokens, as in companies, exactly the same. The only difference was that then there was a public sale, and that public sale was for the regular guy. So
Yeah,
the regular guy could get in mostly uh, almost leveled with the VCs, and that was the problem for the
yeah.
VCs,
Well, it's
right?
not for the VCs. The problem is
Of
for
course.
the people that are investing, because they don't know where they are investing. They are not informed people.
Uh, they are not informed people, but people can learn how to
And
get
I'm not
informed,
excusing them. I
right?
totally agree that it's their fault. People, if the people are spending money, they should know where they are spending money. It's not just, well,
Yeah.
let's try to put a buck here. They should know where they are spending, and people after that just tend to spend quite a big sum of money in some of the projects. And because but it's gambling, right? They don't make an analysis on the project. They don't do any crap. They don't even know if it's feasible or not.
Yeah,
So
but that's the majority of people.
yeah, yeah.
And but that doesn't make it fair to deny everyone else
No, I do
the
agree.
access
As for
to
me, I was quite happy with ICOs because I didn't care that much about them. The thing is,
and I
uh,
I made some money on some ICOs. I lost some money on some ICOs, the same as I did in the stock market many years. And that's natural. It's up to us to know what we are doing and not put too much money on each bet, and that's it. But of course, humans do human shit. And
yeah,
uh, there are guys that put all their savings in Dogecoin. So, and it's not an ICO, right? So, uh, there are people that put their life savings and sold their house to buy GameStop on the stock market. And no one told
pardon
them
my ignorance. What is GameStop?
it's a meme stock. It's some company that was completely dead for ages in America, and the guys from Reddit, I don't know the name. I don't remember the name of the group. They saw that there was a lot of um, a lot of shorts on that stock from Wall Street, and they were over. Um, uh, they were shorting in leverage a lot that stock, and people organized on Reddit and decided let's short squeeze those guys, and they started buying and buying, and then the guys they just uh, ruined millions and millions of dollars to Wall Street firms because they all get wrecked. And it was very cool, man.
It
It's
was
the
fun.
retail.
That's fun.
It's the retail against corporate finance in its best. And it's continue today. It continues to be traded for pumps and dumps like that and shit like that. But that's the whole thing. And
Yeah, I
so,
didn't heard about it, so I
and
didn't know.
that's one stock in the stock exchanges, so it's regulated by the SEC and all that, and
Yeah,
this
well,
shit
as we
happens,
said,
right?
the regulations don't stop that.
Yeah, so they just
But it's the argument that,
legalize
yeah, but it's the
us.
argument that they use to push regulations is that one. One
Yeah,
of the arguments. The other one is, of course, to stop terrorism, to stop drug dealing, to stop human trafficking, all of that. And
yeah, because you know that terrorism, drug
they all
trafficking,
use Bitcoin.
human
Like,
trafficking, they never use dollars.
no.
Never.
They've been trading
when
in Bitcoin
when you see
since forever.
when you see those pictures of guys apprehending um, big piles of cocaine or whatever, they next to it you always
And
see guns and Bitcoin,
yeah,
not dollars,
and of course, you know
right?
that the mafias in America, when you had what's the name of that, dry law, was it?
And it's the mob
Yeah, it's
in English,
in
mob.
English is mob. Uh, was it called dry law?
Yeah,
Oh, okay, so when they forbid alcohol,
alcohol. Yeah,
you know that they pay the mob in Bitcoin.
yeah, of course. And all those problems were because of us, even
Yeah,
before
and
2008, even before Bitcoin.
they arrested the guy. What was the name of the guy? I'm missing the name of the guy right now. Um,
Madoff.
No, that
Bernie
big
Madoff.
mafia guys. That big
Ah,
mafia guy that they arrested because of he didn't pay taxes.
I don't remember the name, but I see
Yeah,
who
well,
you.
yeah, the guy was arrested because he didn't. The only thing that they could get from him was that he was not paying taxes. So I mean, it's where it ends, taxes.
Yeah,
and
that's
that's
the
how
whole
they
point.
stop. And that's
If
how
you
they
are
stop the
listening,
mafia there.
to the ones that are listening to this podcast, all regulation does is make sure you pay your taxes. Okay, that's it. Goodbye.
So the guy was not fulfilling the law because he was today my sorry guys, my brain has melted a few hours ago, but he was it's not trafficking, what's the name of that, bringing alcohol into the country and tobacco
Yeah.
and whatever. uh, so he was a criminal because of that. He was killing people. He was um, oh,
Yeah,
he
extorting,
was starting, yeah, exactly,
doing
doing a lot of
money
shit, but he
trafficking
was arrested
and
because
human
this is the
trafficking.
worst. This is the worst crime, is
Of
not
course.
paying your taxes.
Yeah.
So yeah, lesson learned. um so what else can we talk about? Yeah, so the banks are also getting into this space. They are creating their own crypto. Those are called CBDCs, and yeah, those I do agree that those need regulation, right? Because we are talking about banks, and those guys need regulation.
Yeah. Those have to be regulated because they are released by the central banks,
Yeah.
hopefully, right? Um, so I don't, but I don't think that they will mix very well in this space.
No, I do, and let me tell you why. Because most people will adhere to that, and those will be that Bitcoin was supposed to be the currency, right? And those those centralized banks will issue their money, and you will keep using euro, you will keep using dollars, but in crypto, and with a tracking efficiency absurdly higher
Hmm.
than the current fiat currencies. So this will become, in my view, those will become mainstream, and people will use it like for everyday usage. If you want to go to the grocery store, you will use crypto euro, or you will use crypto dollars, and yeah, but like fiat is highly regulated, this will also have to be highly regulated.
Well, when I was saying that it will not mix very well with this space,
Mhm.
is it's not the same thing. Using a cryptocurrency that is uh, that has to comply with all those regulations and all those things will be a completely different thing. And uh, I'm not saying that I won't use it. Um, I just wanted to clarify that it's not the same thing. Uh, Using a truly decentralized, first of all, I don't see CBDCs coming to public networks easily because um, they
And
will
what do you
be
mean by public
subject.
networks?
What?
What do you mean by public network?
like Ethereum, for instance, or any other public network like that. They will have their own infrastructure. Otherwise, they will have to be very well certain that they don't get hacked. And this is the wild, wild west here. And I don't doubt that the hacker community would be very happy to have United States CBDC dollar to hack, right? Or Europe's euro or whatever, right?
I think it's
So,
fairly easier to get away with hacking some other token than these CBDCs. I think if you try to hack some CBDC, the world police will be on you.
but it's much more fun, right?
Yeah, well,
For an hacker. And
for a couple of days.
hackers like that kind of shit.
Yeah, for a couple
And
of days, it might be fun, but
no, it's not. It doesn't have to be, because if you really are a hacker, they will not get you. Forget it.
they do.
But no, they get those little fish that saw a few movies and they decided to hack emails on Portuguese football league team or something like that, right?
I have a theory that now he's an excuse for our federal police now having all sorts of information that they were not supposed to have. And he said, no, it was in his computer.
Yeah, that's bullshit. If you know what you're doing as a hacker, you will not get caught. Period. They can't, right? But the problem is not it's not just that. Is that they would have to either they ban all the other alternatives that there are already, or they buy them out, like USDC, for instance, could be perfectly be a candidate for the CBDC for the United States, right?
Yeah, but it's the USDC. It's not owned by the government.
It's not, but they can.
They will have to create. I think they will have to create their own.
They can go to Circle, the company behind USDC, right, and tell them, guys, let's talk some shit here. This is the U.S. government talking right now.
Yeah, let's talk some shit.
Yeah. You are stepping our toes. And either you close tomorrow or we have to make a deal.
But yeah, well,
And
but
it's very easy.
It's to
They have it
the
all.
USDC and USDT are too distributed already, and they most probably don't fulfill the requirements of a government currency.
They do. If you use USDC, your USDC can be seized. Your USDC can be frozen. All those goodies are in there. They were put there for a purpose. Circle wants to become the USDC, the USD digital currency, and they want to comply with anything they can, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably their exit strategy to become.
It can be
to release it to the government.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just thinking
Tether is a different
probably
thing. Tether is non-regulated and it's outside of U.S. jurisdiction, and they don't give a shit about U.S. regulation, and it's a completely different thing, right?
Yeah, I do.
So we have both Now
Yeah,
you
but
have Tether.
even so, I think they will create their own token. I think they want full control over it. They don't have to go into the details
We'll see.
because yeah,
But for
we
me,
will see. But yeah,
this it will be more of the same shit, right? It will be a completely trusted, centralized,
yeah,
completely monitored, completely censorable uh, monetary instrument. It's not crypto. Don't be fooled, guys. Uh, it's the same thing as using your bank, right? Uh, but people use banks and they are happy, and I respect that. I don't use banks, I have a bank account, but it's just for paying bills. I don't use them to store anything significant because I don't trust them. And more and more people are uh, coming to this frame of mind by the day, because
yep,
banks do uh, terrible things with people's money, right? And it will be the same thing, more or less. But the freedom that we have in crypto, uh, if one person fully understands the power they get by using cryptocurrency, they will not go back to that rigged system anymore. But they have to fully understand it, right? The ones that don't fully understand crypto, for them is the same shit. Using a bank and the card, or using a CBDC and the card, or using a
yeah, and
CBDC with
most
digital
people will be
payments.
looking for
It's the
the
same thing.
same. Yeah, most people will be looking for the same infrastructure that you have right now on crypto.
Hmm.
So they will just migrate.
Yeah, but that's not adoption, right? And this is the thing that we
It's
need
a
to.
sort of adoption.
It's adoption of digital things, but it's not crypto. uh, and it's very important to make that distinction. People will get used to pay digitally, but they are already, because if you check, PayPal has hundreds of millions of users, right? It's the
Yeah,
digital payment system. Revolut in Europe has hundreds of millions of users,
yeah, and then
right?
not only that,
And
your bank does that, right? You
so
are paying
people
digitally
people
everywhere.
people are getting digitalized in the money area, and the CBDC will be just another way, but it will not be very impactful. It will be impactful to have people understanding the difference between a centralized money institution and decentralized money. And that's the real power. And but I don't see that coming through CBDCs. It will be just more sand to the eyes
No,
of
for sure,
people.
and they will try to put themselves in the position that they are the ones that are doing it right. So this is crypto, and it's all but that.
No, they will not do it right. If that's what you mean by the government. The
No, no,
government
no.
will
They,
not
they
do
do it.
things right.
They no, trust me, they do it right.
Ah, they will do
Trust me,
it right for
they
them.
will do it. Yeah,
Ah,
not
okay.
for us, for sure. But for them, yeah, they tend to do it quite well.
Yeah, always. They don't fail. They do it always right for them.
Yeah.
And that's it. Anyway, um, so yeah, it will come for sure. Um, but what's the major thing of this stage of that we are right now is that um, crypto and Bitcoin, especially, is not going anywhere.
No,
That's
yeah, for
the
sure.
good thing,
No, yeah.
because uh, they tried and tried and tried, and they failed every single time trying to destroy Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's impossible to destroy Bitcoin, but it's very, very hard because Bitcoin is very, very resilient. And
Uh,
that's the funny part about that. It's the
to
first one, and I think it's the best one.
you know that many years ago, um, I thought that Bitcoin would never be a thing. When I
Mhm.
read the white paper in 2010, uh, I really thought that this will never be a thing. They won't let it
Yeah, they will kill it
be.
first, but they
Yeah,
didn't.
and I was wrong, and probably they didn't see it coming until it was already too big to fail.
Yeah,
And there was a chance. I was uh, it was clear for me that there was that possibility, right? And it could be the single reason why Bitcoin could eventually uh, survive, uh, and it happened. So that was a very interesting outcome. I wasn't expecting at the beginning, but being in this space for so long, uh, it makes me realize that decentralization is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what you do, or to which industry, to which area that you are interested in solving. Uh, you need to do trustless, decentralized, permissionless systems. That's the only way to build stuff that is impossible to break. And for that, you cannot build a company. And that's very sad, right? Because we all want to make money, we all want to do this and that. Uh, and building a company and raising capital and all that seems very cool and the way to go, usually, but not in this space. If you have a company behind the project, your project is doomed because it's a centralized project, right? There is a CTO,
yeah.
there is a,
Well, and
a CEO to arrest and a company to subpoena
yeah,
and all those things. So building decentralized projects is a lot harder. Uh, it's very hard to raise capital because you usually can't. Otherwise, they will come after you. And so you need to do things right. And Bitcoin was done right. And that's the good thing.
yeah,
And there is hope for everyone. Just don't ICO the hell out of you, and don't do that kind of dumb shit. Don't create companies, create projects, build communities, and make communities start the thing and in a decentralized way, and you are good to go. And
yep,
that's it. And don't
yeah,
sell tokens. Why should you sell tokens in the first place? They will eventually get sold somewhere in some exchange someday. Just be patient, right?
yep, exactly. Yeah, well, you will need to sell those tokens if you want to use the money, right? So
But to do it decentralized, you cannot uh, first raise the money to do the project.
yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah,
the
sure.
other way around. You do
Yep.
the project,
Yeah,
and
then
then the tokens
then you
come.
get value. Yeah, then you get value, and then the tokens.
Yeah, and that's the way things work in this space. And in many projects, there's this fight always, uh, because people usually tend to think the other way around. First, let's uh, design a feature, for instance, and then let's get funding to implement the feature. And then, only then, we will implement the feature and see uh, if it works or whatever, right? In this space, is the other way around. First, you implement the feature, then you put it on testnet and get support for the feature that you want to build, right? That you built, right? And then, if enough people gathers around you and likes what you did, then you get some help to finish the details, right? And then when it's finished, you get a larger community, and that community will adopt your feature by, for instance, in Bitcoin, using the fork of your codes in the miners, or in other decentralized networks by merging your code into the core of
Yeah,
that protocol, or something like that. And then that feature brings value for everybody. And that value that everybody was presented with your feature, including you with your tokens from that project, will be um, uh, will get more value because of that. And that's the way we make money in this space. It's not by selling tokens, it's by buying them.
yeah. Well, you
Change
have to sell them afterwards.
change of perspectives, right? Buy the tokens first, build, propose to the community, get support, be adopted, and then your tokens will raise in value. And then you sell a bit to go for
Yeah,
lunch or to buy a yacht or whatever, right? That's the way things
yeah,
do.
buy a yacht sounds good.
Yeah, and it has been like that in the real world. People just
Yeah,
don't realize
sure.
it, right? Uh, of course, there are seed capital and shit like that, but for instance, Facebook, the seed capital of it was nothing compared to the valuation of today, right? And Mark Zuckerberg, when he started developing Facebook, he started developing Facebook because he wanted to do it, and he did it, and that's it. It was not because of the capital that he raised that made him stay nights after nights after night developing that shit, right?
Yep, exactly. Well, like
So
all major companies.
yeah, for instance, Jeff Bezos on Amazon, uh, he made his fortune. He's one of the richest men on planet Earth. He made his fortune not by selling stocks of Amazon. It was the other way around. It was not by not selling them
Yeah,
during a time where Amazon lost 95% of its value. That's harder, right? but it compensated him a lot, right? I think
Yeah.
he still has the majority of the shares that he got from starting the company, right?
Yeah.
So that is the point, guys. Being it, we have to be regulated in this space. Just to summarize, we will have to comply with a bunch of bullshit because they don't see anything else besides that regulation that they so like. Uh, but the important thing is to do things right. If you do things right, you can uh, still fulfill the crypto ethos and bring value to humanity and regulate the least you have to just to comply with all that bullshit, and that's it,
Yeah, I do
right?
agree. I do agree. And this is a nice place to end our conversation. If you guys like the conversation, click on the like button, subscribe if you want to be notified about new videos. And yeah, keep implementing the world wisely. Today, I'm not getting this phrase anywhere. Today, I'm not getting it. So, yeah, but keep doing it.
Decentralize.
Decentralize
Just
the world wisely. Uh, so, yeah.
yeah, guys. Hope you enjoyed this talk about regulation and all that. We might go deeper in other episodes about certain topics that we covered
Yeah.
today. And yeah, until then, cheers.
Have fun,
Stay
guys.
regulated, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye. Cheers.
Bye.